All right, I think we're on. Hi,
Yeah.
Jenny.
Hi, hola. Nice
Ah,
to be here with you.
it's so great to see you. Thank you for hopping on and sharing your story with us today. So let me introduce you guys to my dear friend and colleague, Jenny. She's a mom of two teenagers. She's a chemist by trade, turned water safety advocate, and an e-commerce entrepreneur. And let me ask you first, Jenny, how did you first learn about our business? And how were you first introduced?
It's quite a story because I think Rodan and Field, my company, fell into my lap just because of desperation. As you mentioned, I teach children, small babies, how to self-rescue in water. And that is truly my mission in life. I love what I do. And I was always looking for something to bring more income into my house. But everything that I found required a huge investment. And let's not even mention time. For a traditional business, I wasn't willing to create all that time. So I left it, but Hurricane Maria in 2017 destroyed my island. I'm naturally born and raised in Puerto Rico, and I was left unemployed. I went to sleep one night with everything, and I woke up with nothing, and I needed money. I needed money in that instant because my eldest son has specific academic needs, and in Puerto Rico, private schooling, and particularly special private schooling, is very expensive. So I had seen the products in social media. Being so much time in the sun, my face was destroyed. So I knew I needed to do something, but I really thought that was frivolous. Eh, I washed my face with a bar of soap. And I had never sold anything. So I really thought that's not for me until I was desperate. So, long story short, that was 3 years ago, and it's been fantastic. It's been one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit, when you first decided to start your business, um, what were some of your biggest concerns?
I had many. I think I had. I talk to many people all the time that bring different fears uh, or opportunities to learn more, but I think I have them all. I was so concerned about um, how was I going to do this? I've never sold, not even Girl Scout cookies. I don't know what that is all about. I thought this was a pyramid scheme. I'm like, me? Former chemist, compliance director? No, I'm not going to get involved in that. I really thought skincare, my face did not reflect a company of that stature. Being number one, and I'm like, how am I going to sell something that I know nothing about? I didn't have a lot of network because at that time when I was considering this, we had no internet, we had no postal service. People were really just, I thought people were thinking about food and water and diesel for their generators, but I quickly learned that there's a big opportunity for diversification, particularly in times of need.
That's right. That's right. So tell me a little bit more about how you sort of overcame some of those concerns, or all, I mean, obviously all of them. You're super successful in your business.
Thank you. So are you. I think the situation, like I said before, it was a very difficult time. I knew before that I needed to do something, but I was so comfortable that I stayed in that comfort zone. But when I saw that I was failing, my family was in a difficult situation because of me. I didn't prepare myself. That pushed me to just run with the opportunity. I had seen people not only getting the results that I desperately needed for me, so I just went with their results, while I created mine, but I saw other people being successful. And to be honest, I didn't know it was successful. Their lifestyle seemed, I worked really hard, really hard. I swam from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. And I saw people with a mimosa all the time in their hand, or with a new bag, or at a restaurant. And I'm like, I want that lifestyle. I want to just relax with my friends. So being in the situation that I was, and believing in what I had joined, and giving it a fair opportunity, that made all the difference.
Gotcha. So, so you said you didn't really have any sales experience prior to starting this business. I mean, you do have this other business where you really just, you sell safety, right? You sell peace of mind. So what helped you overcome that fear of, doing the sales?
Well, I can compare both of my bit now, seeing it, I can compare both of my difference, because clearly, like you say, we all sell something. I just didn't know. I wasn't doing a direct sell. I was selling in my other business the experience that I wanted to prevent other families going through, like I went through with my daughter. And that passion came across. And I quickly learned that it's the same thing. We're selling something all the time. With my company, as I fell in love with my products, I could sell or share that experience. And when I started seeing what this was, slowly, it was very small steps. First, I started seeing a small difference in my face. Then I got my first paycheck. And to be honest, that paycheck was an aha moment, because it wasn't, ¿verdad? It wasn't $1 million. But I wasn't in Puerto Rico. I had to take my family out of the island, because all the fumes from the generators were being detrimental to my daughter's health. And I was, Olia, seeing a football game, and I was placing my second order. And I'm like, I have never been able to do this. For me to generate an income, I have to be with a bathing suit in my pool. And I was seeing a football game, and when I got that first paycheck, I'm like, oh, I didn't really do all that much. I just talked about this product. And at that moment, the snowball started. A little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until you just fall in love. When you see what you can do, not only I sell self-esteem, I sell options, I sell opportunities. Some people just run with it. Some people just take a little bit longer. And when you're able to truly, I say I changed the world. I don't want to sound rude, but I changed the world in my pool, because I can give other children a second chance. When they turn around and breathe, they take that breath, I change the world. And when I can give a family like this has given to me a second opportunity, I compare, when you see movies of people drowning and water is rising, and this business can help that person just come out for a breath of air. And that changes the world. You can save a marriage. You can save a person's life, just making them feel comfortable in their own skin. And that is something I am very passionate about doing.
I literally have like goosebumps, because I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that's the best part, right? And it allows, this business has really allowed, I think, so many people to have a much bigger vision of what's possible, right? For their lives, and, for changing other people's lives. So, talking about that, can you tell us a little bit about what this business has allowed you and your family to do?
I think I mentioned it before. This has become that I never knew I needed, but it was exactly what I needed. I just needed to educate myself because I was that person that I'm like, no, that's never gonna be me. I'm never gonna sell skincare, or I'm never gonna be that girl. I like being that girl. I like being the person that gives people opportunities. And this, in a situation where I really thought this was gonna be it. I was gonna have to take my child out of his school. He was gonna set back in his academic progress. Not only was I able to leave both of my children in the school they needed, I moved from Puerto Rico to Tampa. I left my business of 9 years at that time in the island. I can't bring those babies, I can't bring my clients. But this business that I had been growing at that time for a year and a half, it just came with me. It came here. I was unemployed from my other job, but I had something that I had already uh, grown. And when the current situation hit again, another storm, because my life changed literally because of a storm. But storms come in many, many, many different ways. Storms come in a relocation, in uh, you get fired, an illness, a pandemic hit. And if you're not prepared, it can obviously catch you off guard. And when this current situation hit us, I had a moment. Oh, I think I have the paper here. I had a moment where I had to close my pool the first time, because I had to close it 3 times. And I got really scared. I'm like, gosh, here I go again. And I was going through my papers, and I had this paper. I have things. And when I looked at it, I'm like, why am I worried? I have a really good, thriving business that I have been growing for 3 years. And that was, for me, the moment I went like, and I took that big breath. And I am grateful every day that this was presented to me, but even more so that I saw it. Because it can be presented to someone, but if you don't allow yourself just to listen, just to hear the facts, you have nothing to lose. Educate yourself. It wasn't the time for me when I first was introduced to it, but when the situation changed, it was exactly what I needed.
Exactly. And yes, I can definitely relate because I don't think there are a lot of people who say yes, on the first time somebody shares this with you, right? Um, so tell me a little bit more about, so we've talked about, some of the positive things that happened that this business has given you. What are some challenges that you have faced in your business? Because, it's not all, rainbows and butterflies, right? I mean, every business is a business. It's, we don't want it to make, to sound like, everything is so fantastic and wonderful and there are no challenges whatsoever. So tell us, and I know that you're very real, and you're going to say it like it is. What are some things that you faced? Some challenges that you faced, and how are you overcoming them, or how have you overcome them?
Well, I think my situation is a little bit different than maybe the majority of other people, that this is their first experience at their own business, because many of the hurdles that I have had to go through in my other business set me up for this one. Just hearing people say no. People, like you said, they will not understand what you're doing, and they will say, no, thank you, not right now, until they understand and they get all the facts. That's why it's important to educate yourself. I go through that all the time in my other business. What I do, teaching a 6-month-old to rotate, That's not traditional swimming. That's not what the norm of people expect. So I've heard, no, thank you, it's okay. I've heard that a lot, a million of times. So that for me, I was prepared for it. But that is something that I always encourage people to, it's okay. It's okay to hear no. People will pay attention to you. People will keep on looking to educate themselves. For me particularly, I've had to learn to be more of, I'm gonna say, a team player. Uh, I I love working alone. I am a control freak. I like things now. I like them my way. And this business has helped me grow so much into embracing different point of views and developing my patience. Not only to learn that it's okay to disagree, and it's okay to take time until people can make an educated decision. But for me, I think that's a big one, the, the team playing.
That's right. That's right. That's a big part of it. So, so is there a typical, like, what does your typical day look like? Do you have a typical day? Like, when do you find time with, your kids, with your business, with your, swimming, safety business, water safety business? Where do you find the time, and how do you manage to fit it into your life, into your day?
Well, I've learned to incorporate my business is my life. It's intertwined. I don't separate them because a lot of what we do is just socializing, is networking, is engaging with people. So, for example, today I haven't started my swimming season yet, so I have the chance to go at my leisure to the gym, to the store, and that is actually my working time. I say hi to people, I engage, I compliment, I make sure to obviously showcase my skincare and engage in conversation and just create bonding. But when I am actively in the pool, I have a baby. I have a little teeny thing. So I don't have the time to just be looking to the side. And that's the time where being organized is really important. So I wake up, I work with my social media, which, that's a good one. I have had to learn to deal with social media, which still to this point is not one of my favorites, but I know it's a really good tool to engage with people. So I've learned how to do that. I do my social media in the morning. I answer emails, I answer texts. When I am in my car, that's a big time of my business developing and my personal developing. I do a lot of calls in my car, and I do a lot of training in my car. I listen to my personal development. Um, and what I encourage my team to do is to just be organized. Like you would do if you schedule a meeting, if you have to write a report, you have it in your calendar. You wouldn't say to your boss, no, I can't make it to the 2 o'clock. That's in your calendar. In the same way, your business should be in your calendar. What are your business hours? It's just a matter of getting organized.
Great, and you sort of answered my follow-on question on here too. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions before we wrap up. What do you think is, in your opinion, what's the biggest reason people fail in our business? And is there such a thing as failure?
No, there's people that just don't commit to the long run. I don't, anyone, if I could do this, anyone can do it. I struggle with my English. That's why I'm very thankful for you for inviting me here, because it gets me the chance to practice my English. But if I could do it, and Olia, I know you've seen this, but in our business, the demographic is very diverse of people that decide to do this business. I've seen, and that's one of the things that inspired me, encouraged me to do it. I saw all educated women, lawyers. In my team, I have veterinarians, architects, pediatricians, engineers. I'm like, what are women with this pedigree? What do they see? And that's when I paid a little bit more attention. So I think committing to the long run is what makes the difference. This is a fast track to, I'm just going to leave it at options. Whatever option pops into your mind, you can and you will achieve it if you see the big picture. So no, I don't think there's such a thing as failure as long as you don't quit.
Amen to that. And I agree. I think, that's, a lot of people, it's don't really see that, in any business, it takes time to build it. And if you have never done, if you've never been a part of any business before, if you've never started one before, all businesses have their own challenges. But, with our business, it's definitely, as I saw, as a business owner previously as well, I saw that the chance of failure in this business is practically zero, right? But the trick is you have to stick with it. So on that note, I do want to ask you, and you've talked, a lot about, this, but, what advice would you give to someone who is, considering, who's sort of like on the fence and they're thinking, well, maybe I could do this. What advice would you give somebody like that?
Jump now. Do it. Don't think about it. Really, the more you think about it, the more you're gonna look for any little thing that might hold you back because you're scared. Every person that includes this type of business, it's not traditional, so you will be scared, and it's okay. It's that nice scare. But if it excites you, just do it. I always encourage people to find someone that inspires them, that makes you reach for more, and just be patient. If you commit, I think the key word is commit to the long run. Again, a traditional business, it's always the first year in red. There's no revenue. In this type of business, you will, if you work, it's not because there's a magic wand. If you work, which, what's my work? In my case, wash my face and talk about it. You will make an income. The income that will change your life, if that's what you want, because some people want to change their lives and build a legacy. Some people just want to buy a really nice purse every now and again, and that is fine. But no one will fail, and you just have to be fearless. You have to believe in yourself, close your ears to all the noise, and commit that there's no option, there's no exit. All doors are closed, there's no exit. You're here for the long run until you achieve it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jennie. I'm so happy that we reconnected, after all this time. It feels like it's been ages, even though it's only been like less than 2 years, right, that we met in our headquarters. And I'm so grateful for, all the people that I met and all the people that I continue to meet in this business, because they're the most positive, the most resilient, really strong, and the confidence that you exude. I mean, your English is perfect. It's perfect. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of the show, for my show. Yes, and right back at you. And I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone on Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm gonna stop the recording.